Sometimes the hardest part about boundaries isn't setting them, it's what to do when your friend keeps crossing them. Maybe you've talked about it and the same thing keeps happening. So, what do you do? Today, we are going to talk about how to deal with it when your friend keeps crossing your boundaries. How do you know if someone is crossing your boundaries? Sometimes it's obvious, but other times it's not something that you recognize right away. Are they more interested in what they want than what you want? Maybe you've set some type of time boundary. Maybe you let them know, let's say you started a new job, you have a new schedule, and you're not going to be able to talk on the phone as frequently as you used to. Maybe you set up a new schedule and say, hey, let's talk at this time. But every day they continue to call at the same time as before, and they always expect you to answer. Maybe you have told them on a certain day that you have plans to go do something and that maybe you can't make it to something they've invited you to, but they continuously text you and call you and ask you to change your other plans to accommodate them. Maybe they don't take no for an answer. Maybe they don't respect your privacy or your personal space. The question isn't always whether they're crossing the boundary. The question might be, are they having a hard time understanding the boundary, or do they just not care about the boundary that you have set? Before deciding what action to take, it's important to recognize which one of those situations you're dealing with. It's important to pay attention to how this is affecting you. If you have communicated your boundary and someone continues to overstep it, pay attention to how it's making you feel. Do you find yourself anxious before you're going to see them? Do you find yourself avoiding their phone calls? Do you find yourself not having fun when you're with them? And then do you start asking yourself, am I being too harsh with this boundary I've set? Is this boundary unrealistic? The truth is, if you've communicated your needs respectfully, you are not being unreasonable. Boundaries are there to protect your peace and your well being. And if you are constantly around someone who oversteps your boundaries and that leaves you feeling anxious or frustrated or upset, then that is an important sign. And if you're feeling like that, it's probably time to speak up to that friend about it. Because if you do not address it with them, chances are it will continue and it may even get worse. Ask them if they're willing to have a conversation about it. Let them know there are things happening that you're not comfortable with and ask if they're willing to talk about it. If they're willing to have a conversation, that's a great sign. It shows that they care about the friendship. And if they're willing to listen, understand your perspective, and make changes, that's an even better sign. Talking through uncomfortable things is not easy. If the two of you can come out of the other side of that conversation with a better understanding of each other and each other's boundaries, that's a big step toward a healthy, long lasting friendship. And when you do ask them to sit down and have a conversation about it, pay attention to how they respond. Because if they immediately become defensive, they refuse to talk about it, or say they keep putting the conversation off, and it feels to you like they have no interest in hearing your concerns, that might be a signal. It doesn't automatically mean that the friendship is over, but it may tell you something on how much they value your thoughts and feelings. Healthy friendships are not built on agreeing on everything, but they are built on being willing to have a conversation. And when you do have the conversation, if it feels like it might not be going as smoothly as you hoped, try not to let it turn into an argument, because sometimes when we're anxious or frustrated, we can easily become defensive. I think we probably all are capable of doing that. And sometimes when that happens, We might say things that we don't really mean, or we might not be able to say things as clearly as we anticipated. If you're going to have a conversation about boundaries, just try to stay calm and be as clear as possible. This isn't about winning any type of argument or conversation. This is about helping someone understand what you need and why it matters to you. And even after you have the conversation and things went well, but you notice maybe this person is slipping back into overstepping the boundary a little bit, you have to decide if you're going to give them multiple chances. And that's one of the hardest things about setting boundaries. Most of us do not want to lose a friendship, especially if we've known someone for a long time. So we give them another chance, and then we hope things will get better. But sometimes you really have to pay attention and see if there is a pattern. If you've communicated your boundary clearly, you've talked to them about it, you have given them chances to make things better, but nothing does get better, that's telling you something. That doesn't automatically mean that the friendship has to end. Sometimes, though, it might mean you want to take a step back. Sometimes it means that this person may not be someone you can be as close to as you once were. But you should ask yourself if this friendship is still healthy for you. Because friendships should not leave you feeling disrespected, anxious, or that your needs don't matter. And if this is happening over and over again, and you just don't see where this friend can fit into your life at any level, then it's okay to step away completely. Have you ever had a friend who kept crossing a boundary that you set? I would love to hear it if you want to drop it in the comments below. And if boundaries are something that you have struggled with in friendship, I have another episode where I talk about some of the boundaries that actually help keep friendships from falling apart. I'll put that up on the screen for you, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.